That's fucking awesome, dude.
Go ahead, Brendan. Bring us in.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Here's the Scenario, an interactive podcast. You know what? I listen to the show.
Dude, I cannot believe this. I can't
Just have some fucking confidence, man.
I have confidence. I just don't.
You have too much confidence in the wrong things.
Yes.
You really do.
Yes.
Like all your confidence is stacked in the suicide basket. It's like
suicide and saying
you know what I've been doing?
Jews.
You know what I've been doing? Yeah. Yeah.
And the middle finger on photo shoots.
Oh,
That's
I don't
the
do
only,
that anymore.
It's
I don't
You
do
did
that
it. You posted a picture
embarrassing.
yesterday with the
No,
middle
I didn't.
finger.
No, I
Really?
didn't. Yeah, it was
going in.
blood, you fucking idiot.
I'll pull it up.
Which I'm afraid of now.
Yeah, which multiple people have warned you against doing. This is good. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Here's a Scenario, a podcast Brendan is incapable of describing. I'm one of your hosts, Mike Cannon. With me, as always,
It's Mike Feeney.
And Brendan Sagalow. Hello, everybody. Thanks for, you know what's going on. And just a little peek into my world. I have been getting high too early in the day. And it's affecting me like so. So I can't describe the show. If I was so, if I
Wait, are
wasn't,
you high right now?
yeah, I got a little high today.
Oh, cool. Well, that explains the fact that you're wearing the heaviest sweatshirt on earth in a 90-degree day.
I know. Well, it's actually pretty cold in here.
How so? From the reflective white walls? Are they doing a good job of cooling things?
Yeah, the air conditioner is bouncing off of the walls.
So for those of you new to the podcast, thank you very much for tuning in, checking it out. We are a hypothetical-based podcast. We do what-ifs, scenarios, would-you-rathers, all that type of fun stuff right here on the laugh button. You can check out all of our stuff at here'sascenario.com. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. You guys can DM us the questions, the hypotheticals, and then we churn out some comedy content for you guys based on that stuff. We are completely interactive. We are completely malleable to our listeners. As things pick up speed, we're getting more and more submissions every single week. So thank you for all of that.
And we're getting more submissive.
And we're absolutely getting more submissive, especially Brendan. By the midway through the episode, Brendan's on his back with his paws up, just soft,
and his
belly to the
soft
sky.
belly exposed.
my 16 nipples.
Yeah, your pink nipples just directly to the sunlight. But if this isn't enough for you, we got a Patreon as well, patreon.com/scenariopod. We do 2 bonus type of podcasts every single week. They're not direct carbon copies of this one, so you're getting new comedy shit every single week. I do Mike Takes Edibles, which is my brand new web series out, and that goes up early. Feeney and Sags put up their sketches early up there. We just did a watch along, Godzilla versus Kong. We got one for Mortal Kombat coming. We're putting a ton of content up on that Patreon. I gotta say, I combed through it a lot recently just to see what we're offering, and it's pretty fantastic, especially for like the $5 tiers, which are probably getting hit with more content than any other Patreon at that level.
Oh yeah, they're getting away with robbery, dude.
They really are. I actually think I want to start pulling shit.
Yeah. I'm going to start double charging their credit cards.
If I had access,
I also just thought of something yesterday that I think I'm going to start doing, and if that's the case, we'll also be up very early on the Patreon. So
nice.
So that's even more of a reason to sign up.
More content. And Brendan, he's just going to be getting high in the morning.
Just
not
along
talking
for the
to anybody.
ride. Just along for the ride.
Just along for the ride.
No, I think we're all in a good headspace with pumping shit into the Patreon. I think we've all gotten to that focus, and whether or not some of us don't do it and some of us do it,
yeah, it'd be great
happening.
if you held your weight, especially since you weigh the most.
Oh, come on, man.
I got a vlog type thing of a Friday night bouncing around doing spots coming out pretty soon. My man Lucas followed me around the city, filmed me, and he was the one that shot the Edibles episode with Brendan and I. So got a lot more stuff. I'm also filming a heads up poker match between me and Robert Kelly tomorrow at the Comedy Cellar. So all that's going to go up on the Patreon as well. Plugs aside, let's finally get to some content.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for sending questions to our Instagram. We're getting more and more every week, and that is fucking awesome. So this first one comes from It's Fucking Pat is the name of his Instagram. It's fucking Pat.
Do you know in my 5th grade like yearbook or whatever, where there were no pictures, but it was just a binder of like kids filling out their interests and stuff like that. My favorite movie was It's Pat.
You know, I've never seen that movie.
It was really funny.
I've never even heard of that movie.
Really? It's an SNL sketch.
It's like you don't know if it's a man or a woman. The whole sketch
yeah, it couldn't be a less of a 2021 sketch, and it's like it's so good. It's so funny.
Yeah, dude. Who's the star of that?
Yeah, who's Pat?
I forget what her name is, but it's a woman that plays it. But it's for sure a guy. Like Pat is a guy. But I don't know. It's also it's just great stuff.
Watch along.
Yeah, it might be.
This is from It's Fucking Pat. Would you rather never feel emotional pain again or never feel physical pain again? I think that's an easy one.
What is it?
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Brendan, you would definitely pick emotional one, Brendan, because
I am emotional.
You break like a small twig with at the quickest heart. You fall hard and fast for love.
That's right.
Yeah. It's pretty brutal. But I am from these experiences, and maybe I'm just lying to myself, but from okay, so never mind.
say what you were going to say, and then we'll slam you.
Yeah. I just thought I'd preempt the slam, just so that you know, as you're describing this, there is a slam coming.
I just want to. I also want to
slam.
I want to vote on the side of Feeney's preemptive slam because I agree with the preemptive nature of his statement.
I also want to convoy the preemptive slam. But I think these experiences with all this bullshit, it's hardening me. So it's making me, I would rather have the emotional pain so that eventually in the upcoming millennium, I can handle myself.
I think you're really learning the wrong lessons if you're hardening yourself. Well, I think you're really taking just the worst parts of emotional learning process out of your pain.
That's not what I meant, but it is kind of like
I do know what Brendan's saying though, because I was saying this to yesterday to Erica, especially like in regards to like the cat or something, because there was like extra like dry cat food that we found that we had to throw out. So we had to,
found one of the cat's little booties,
little mementos. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like, we were like, we had that moment where we were like, oh, and I was saying to her, I'm like, I guess it's because I've just had so much loss in my life with like family and friends and just other pets too, that like I'm able to, at this point, I'm so far removed already from from them dying that it's like, I think I go through like all of the phases of grief, and then I end up back in denial. Like that's where I finish, is that like I think I have this little compartment that I put it in that I'm like, okay, because even right now while I'm sitting here, I'm like, both of my cats are dead. They're just in the other room. And then I'll go in the other room and they'll be in there. Like, even when I think of like my grandparents down in Florida and stuff,
Dude,
it's like,
that is the funniest way to describe grief that you've ever stumbled upon in your life. And I totally agree with you, where you're just like, oh, if I'm in here, they're just in there. Like you can convince yourself that. And then the vision of you walking in that room and them sneaking out into the other room.
Yeah. They're just always in another room.
In your head, you're just like, well, they just surely snuck by my feet and I didn't notice them.
I saw you. But that's where I feel like it is. It's like, that's kind of how my like brain has just been like, it doesn't feel real, because you're like, surely you can't. I feel like I can't ever comprehend the gravity of never being able to see someone or something that I have had a relationship with and have spoken to, never seeing them ever again. Like that doesn't seem like it doesn't seem. It seems more possible that they're in the other room than that I could never talk or pet my cat again. That's crazy.
But do you know what's great is that the other room is actually your heart, and they are there.
Oh,
wow. And they'll forever be in the other room.
Yeah, that's right. Well, because that's real schmaltzy and super gay, but it's something that I've actually
now that's a rap name.
Super gay. That is my rap name. That's our first merch. That's our first merch. Fuck that bullshit logo design. Let's get some Super GAY t-shirts
with a parental advisory sticker.
Yeah. Oh, it's just us three triple kissing on a t-shirt. We already have that Zoom background image for it, so we could do it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Just got to add me somewhere.
Yeah. We don't have to.
You actually don't have to. It's just a shirt. But yeah,
and then we'll put the only two gay-friendly people of the podcast.
Yeah.
And also Brendan.
Brendan is not an ally. He's an enemy of the people, of every people.
Hardcore
I'm an enemy of every single person.
Yeah, this kid just learned about Palestine. He couldn't be more pro.
Hey,
oh my God! Palestine.
I'm looking at it like this. I'm just stepping away from it.
I live near Little Egypt, dude. But Palestine. Yeah. There are people. I'm not kidding. Driving. There were people because they did like a rally in Queens on Sunday, I guess it was, or something. There were literal like minivans and cars of people where there were 4 to 5 like teenagers on the roof of the on the roofs of these cars, all like waving flags, and they were like speeding down the blocks, laying down the horns. It was crazy, dude.
It's like what's missing from America as we immigrate over here? Oh, I know, wild caravans of fucking machine guns and flags coming out of the window. That's what we need.
It was fucking Christ.
Yeah, I've actually I was like doing some research about it just because I was pretty ignorant on the whole conflict, because also it's one of those things.
You ever hear that Metzger bit where he's like, you ever just think the whole Middle East thing just needs a new set of eyes? He's like, you just research it because you're like, maybe it just needs somebody who's not familiar.
Well, yeah, dude, I'm just looking at it and I'm like, the more I read, the less. It's like it all depends on how long you want to hang on to the past. It seems like because they have both fucked up each other real bad over the last 100 years, and it's just like, I don't know the answer to this. I'm not Jewish. I'm not Palestinian. I am as much invested as this as I do as the genocide in Darfur that's happening. It's like I don't want it to happen, but I don't know the solution, and I don't know what side to be on. And I guess everybody's like, how could you not know what side to be on? You're like, you're just because of this.
You're on the other side of the fence. You're on the other side of the fence, just looking at me like, those guys are crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it fun though how all of our friends are basically putting out intense arguments for either side and basically threatening to disavow any friend that doesn't agree with them entirely.
Well,
I don't know. All right, I don't know.
And they both have made some good points, like they both.
It depends who I talk to. I'm pro both sides of whoever I'm talking to in that moment.
Well, that's the funny. That's like that's what makes an interesting movie. That's what makes interesting characters, and that's what makes hard conflicts like this. Is that when both parties are justified in their actions and both think that they're right. That's what makes it so difficult.
That's what made Michael Keaton's Vulture in the new Spider-Man really good, because you kind of agreed with him.
I don't. But what's the next question?
Oh, I had something about the. You know what? I can't even say it now. But you know what they should do? They should have a Bloods and Crips kind of barbecue. That's what they should do. Fucking Middle East and Israel, and just hang out.
Falafel queue.
But to also,
Brendan pictures a Palestinian and an Israeli with their two flags tied together, just walking towards police as things are on fire in the background. You guys, Rodney King riots.
Yeah. Also, with physical pain in this question, it's like I think
we've never answered that.
I think at our age, we know everything that hurts us. You know what I mean? It would be bad if we were babies and we didn't feel physical pain. But now it's like, I don't want to feel physical pain anymore.
Hey, as a guy who just had shoulder surgery, I also would not like to feel physical pain. And I would not like to feel the physical pain that's causing all of my me to have to get surgery. So yeah, I'm going to go with physical pain because, again, emotions, we could just lockbox it up.
Yeah, I'm the exact opposite. I'm fine with physical pain. As a matter of fact, every time I hurt myself, it just becomes part of me. It's not.
It's just something to talk about and complain about.
Yeah, and not to mention, it's just like right now, my ribs hurt, and I don't know what that is, but it's probably cancer or something. But my whole side of my body is just in pain. And I realized it took me 3 days to mention it to anybody. Like I was just kind of walking around. And I was like, this sucks. This is uncomfortable. And Nicole's like, what's going on? I was like, oh, my side has been in a lot of pain the last few days. And she's like what? Communicate.
It's so funny. Every time we've played basketball, when we went snowboarding, at some point you go, I've torn everything in my body.
Yeah. almost on a daily basis. I hear you say something about being like, knee. Yeah.
And yet I continue to persevere.
That's pretty cool.
There you go. Yeah. And not to mention, it's a pretty good bit, saying timing when you say I've torn everything in my body. It's pretty good. It works every time.
Pretty good. You're that guy from SpongeBob that's like, my leg. My leg. Okay.
Wow, what a pull, Sags.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm back in the game.
So much so that I didn't know it, but I laughed because I recognize that it must be funny.
It's pretty great.
That's how good of a podcast co-host I am.
Let's go to the next question now.
All right, this one comes from Aaron_wow_nice, who says, would you rather own a cat that throws up 10 times a day or a dog that's always chewing up your stuff? And then she put a little side note and said, rip Mike F's cats. R.I.P. Mike F's cats.
Yeah, I'm glad you wasn't just saying just rip into those fuckers. I would say the dog that tears apart everything, because cleaning up puke is awful, and the sound of it makes you jump and startle. And with the dog, you could like give them like pull toys and things to really fucking distract them.
Yeah, but yeah, everything about a cat throwing up is your worst nightmare. There's nothing like kind of there's nothing like at least when a dog fucks some shit up, you're like, man, Sparky. All right.
This is my only argument for your shit being thrown, being destroyed. I don't know what my argument is for, actually, but it's
you don't have to have one now.
I feel bad. Well, I will argue, and it'll probably be against myself.
No, I need to argue.
Allow me to talk myself in a knot here, please.
Cat puke, hot bile everywhere.
When the cat's puking, there's a part of me that could feel empathy for a living creature going through something.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like you watch it and you're like, this is really infuriating, but I understand that you're also unhappy.
Yeah.
When a dog destroys my things, I would like to get violent with the dog, with everything, with my apartment, with myself. Like everything will be destroyed because the dog destroyed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I would rather the cats.
I think the only thing that's really annoying about it is like cleaning it up when you just don't fucking want to. If like I'm up already and that's happening, you're like, all right, I'll fucking grab some paper towels.
Yeah, the old 3 a.m. puke.
Yeah, but dude, you imagine living in your apartment and everything you own is torn apart. So you're basically living in a little rabbit's den because shredded newspaper is everywhere, but it's your
Brendan's
fucking
dream.
couch.
Hey, don't tempt me.
Yeah, Brendan with his shit pellets in the corner.
The corner.
All in one place. Genius.
I don't know. I think with the dog, you're like, if that's happening, you either get rid of the dog or you're like, all right, I have to just be cool with having no material possessions.
Right.
And just
you have to be
a fucking monk.
Full Spartan.
Yeah.
It's just
I don't know.
and a
And I also
table.
think it can for sure be trained out of a dog if you're a good.
But
like,
that's not.
pet
So
owner.
that's not the game. The game is which would you rather have relentlessly? So it never changes.
Yeah.
You can't teach either thing not to do it.
Yeah.
So you either got to clean puke or you got to either rebuy new shit or be fine living
I just buy
in torn shit.
bite-proof things.
Just a Teflon couch.
Everything
the most
would be made of this
uncomfortable
metal
couch.
water bottle.
You're just trying to go to sleep on your bed. It's made out of steel.
Everything's made out of medieval armor.
Yeah, everything's metal and cold.
It's like a cell.
Yeah. You just end up living in a 1-bedroom prison cell in Astoria, Queens with your fucking shitty dog.
Yeah. Just biting at your bed. Kang.
Yeah, that's even worse. So now it's a noise complaint. It's not your shit is torn. It's just
it's also dented. It's dented.
Well, that would be the good thing, right? It's like
everywhere.
eventually they would shatter their teeth and just be gumming everything that we own.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. And then you could go back to civilization.
Yeah, but I do think that if I lived for a long duration of time with an animal that was intentionally destroying all my shit, I would very much I Am Legend that dog in the middle of the living room.
Cry over it?
Just cry, choke it unconscious while singing Bob Marley in its eyes.
That's so funny. All right, Aaron, thanks for the question. Next question comes from Taylor Heston. He said, you're stuck naked in a box. In front of you is your mom, and behind you is your dad. The only way out is either forwards or backwards. Which way are you pushing? I'm assuming what in this question is that they're both naked, like bent over. Like
That's
forward
right.
is my mom's pussy, backwards is my dad's dick.
That's right. Yeah, why would you ever want your dad inside of you?
No way, dude. That is power
Why
struggle.
do they have to be inside you? Can't you just like have to like see and mush around them?
You could, but I'm making I'm making
You
the
guys
question.
just decided you had to have sex with them. This is
You
just
have
a
to.
do you,
You
which
have to
one do
fuck
you
one of
want to
your-
see
no.
naked? Which is a different
No,
it's a
you
different
gotta have
question.
sex with one of
But
your
you're
parents.
naked. Yeah, I guess we did just add that to the
You
question.
added like a lot to that, and that's something to explore.
But here's another preemptive agreement. I agree. You have to have sex with one of your parents.
Yeah.
That's not the way I'll choose to answer the question.
I'll choose to just walk past my dad naked with my eyes closed.
Yeah, what do
yeah.
you just you just gotta slide by, bumping
Sorry about
bellies.
Well, that'll be uncomfortable regardless.
Yeah.
There's going to be some emotional damage there.
But at least it's two men, you know?
Yeah, with
Two
men, it
men,
feels
man.
like locker room thing where you're like, sorry about that, dicks, right? And but like, but if it's a mom, you're like, this is a very,
Yeah.
I don't know. At some point, Irish men become women.
What are you talking about?
Their bodies. My dad has like for sure like woman breasts.
Yeah,
but that
I have
doesn't-
it now.
Yeah, Irish bodies. Once they're past 30 and overweight or 29, I guess.
Brendan has post steroid tits, like the nipples pointing down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
those
yeah.
are the worst. That's how you can really tell that somebody used to inject tea is that they still have the shape of a pec, but right here it's like what those guys that make the bicep in the cartoons and it goes down at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's what happens at the nip.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. I gotta get my shit together. My body is like Robert De Niro at the end of Raging Bull.
I feel like that would be like a goal.
Goal weight for Brendan.
I don't think that's the point. Isn't the point of that movie that you don't look up to that guy anymore?
No, for sure. But also,
He's
he was
just
still,
talking about
like,
your physicality.
He could throw a punch if he needed to,
Buddy, I could throw a punch and I was almost fucking ready the other night. I was like standing up to the guy like this, dude.
Oh, that's Patreon.
We're going to talk about that on the Tron.
Oh, I can't wait to hear Brendan's just wild abusive language on the streets of New York City.
Oh, baby, it was not good.
And then he got off stage, and then you can't wait to hear what happens.
Then it got worse.
Yeah.
Jews.
Wild abusive language.
All right. So I guess to answer that question, I wouldn't fuck my mom, but if I had
It's just which would you go past naked?
my dad, I'll go past my dad
you
naked.
gotta go with another dude.
Ugh.
I'm going to fuck both my parents.
It's just, it's not even optional.
I'm
It's
gonna
not
go
even-
out. I'm gonna go out the first, power bottom my dad to the point where he like is
He's
so
dead.
stunned he thinks he's both gay and an incest guy, and then he has a heart attack, and then I'm just like, well, I'm gonna take the hardness from that sex since it turned me on so much to kill my father with my own asshole. I'm gonna mow through my mom as well.
I'm going to fuck my dad till he's dead, and then I'm going to rape my mom.
It's weird that we don't have more ads.
We have so many ads.
I know. Where's our money?
All right. Okay. This is the last question sent to us from a listener, but it's a two-parter. There's two questions, I think.
And a friendly reminder again, guys, you can send in questions. You can hit us up. People are DMing us individually, which is fine, but is causing a clerical nightmare. So if you guys can either send us them at go to here'sthescenario.com, and you see where all of our socials are, and you could tweet them at us or send them us on Instagram is even better. We'll keep them all in one place, and we'll get to them. And worst case scenario, if we didn't get to them this week, we'll get to them next week.
Also, this is good news, but I lied about this being the last question. We actually have 3 more because I forgot about the sum from the group chat. Okay, so this is from Mark Loegal. That's his full name. Would you? This is 2 questions. Would you rather have the power to eliminate one collective memory a year, i.e., an embarrassing moment everyone present at the memory is their memory is erased from that moment?
What? Start this over.
This is like written weirdly. Would you rather have the power to eliminate one collective memory a year, like an embarrassing moment, and then everyone that was at that moment also has their memories erased from it once a year? It's the way he fucking wrote it is.
Well, then put it together in that fully functioning male head of yours.
I'm trying.
And spit out a coherent question.
I'm fucking trying. Once a year, and could be from any time in your life.
Read the whole thing.
All right.
Don't just drone it on, and Feeney and I will we'll figure out the question.
Here it is. Okay. Would you rather have the power to eliminate one collective memory a year, i.e., an embarrassing moment everyone present at the even memory is erased at that moment? Sure. Yeah, of the event once a year, and can be from any time in your life.
Right.
Or what's the second part of it?
Or have the power going forward to rewind time once a week to a max of 10 minutes if you flub a joke or you're flirting with a chick and it goes bad. Once a week.
Or you get into a deadly car accident.
Of 10 minutes. Yeah, but yeah. Well, if you get into a car accident and you're dead, you can't go back.
Why not?
But if you're like,
what if you're about to crash into the car and you're like,
yeah,
you're like, keep your goddamn eyes open.
Speaking of car crashes, I just watched Death Proof for the first time, and holy fuck, I'm so mad at myself for never watching that Tarantino flick earlier. That car chase scene is it's a 17-minute car chase scene. It's crazy.
I think I saw that in theaters.
They did that. Right. That was the Grindhouse one.
Yeah, the double feature, right?
But not the one, not the Rodriguez one with the leg gun. I'm talking about the one where she's on the hood of the car while they're doing 70, and while Kurt Russell's ramming into the car, and she's just trying to hang on to the hood and not go flying the fuck off. So cool. So cool. So cool. But I think rewinding 10 minutes would be pretty great, because even the embarrassing, because if I did have an embarrassing moment, I could just rewind past that. So that already eliminates the first, but also could save me from physical danger as well.
Yeah. I think that's the best one. It's it kind of goes back to the emotional or physical pain thing, because if you're getting rid of something that was an embarrassing moment, you're just deleting an experience. But this, you could save your own fucking life.
Yeah, you can call an audible.
Yeah, exactly.
Hot route on what I just did.
Yeah. The shame is, wait, was it once a year? He said, or whatever. I feel like I would use it too much.
Yeah, you'd be
but it would use it January 1st.
Right.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh no, it's just once a week.
Oh yeah. I mean,
that's great.
That's
Monday morning.
The move. Brendan, you could have gotten out of that awful street interaction that we're going to talk about on the Patreon.
He could have got out of the awful intro to this podcast.
That's right. Yeah.
I could have fixed a lot of things.
It's fun to know how many errors you accumulate in a week.
So many, dude. My whole life is errors.
It's a dramedy of errors.
Every time Brendan wakes up, it's just that Windows notification, that noise.
Every time I wake up, I hit my head on a shelf that's above my fucking pillow.
That's what Feeney just said.
So we got a little convoy on that, though, right? On the rewind.
Yeah.
What do we got?
Okay. This one is from Adrian Cerna. You want to read this one?
Style.
Okay.
What?
Congresswoman.
If you could go back and redo any single...
He's not a woman.
I know. That was my fun thing to add. Slam.
I legitimately got worried. I was like, oh shit, have I not been...
Adriana.
Yeah, has it just been like a chick with a fucking full Captain Hook goatee this entire time?
It's not chick.
Ma'am. If you could go back and redo any single set you bombed, which would it be?
Any single set.
Yeah, any single set.
Probably my first Montreal audition.
Which one was that?
That was, I mean, actually, it wasn't even my fault, but it was at the Creek in the Cave, which those are notoriously difficult rooms to have any type of audition in. I have no idea what the Austin, Texas room is like, but in Long Island
City,
it's
fantastic.
I've heard the same, but that little side room, especially during like industry showcases where literally you'd look out and just it'd be a bunch of fucking needle dicks with clipboards kind of sizing you up and, you know, seeing what like remarking on what jokes you could tell and how they could market it. Yeah. And it was just as cold as can be. And I'm pretty sure Nick Turner was like hammered drunk while hosting it and literally making fun of Montreal, each comedian and everything in between, like while the show was going on.
I think because he had probably just done it the year before.
I think that's exactly right. And I'm like shivering in my dick, you know, first audition, excited, nervous, you know, all that stuff. And he's like, this next guy, he's never gonna get it. Keep it going. like that's literally how I got brought up.
My God, was he right?
Yeah, he was. He was. He really, really was. Wow. Eight auditions, 6 callbacks.
8?
Never got it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was so weird. The first audition that I did for Montreal, because I was, you know, it was always Unrepped, but they used to do live auditions for Unrepped. And anybody, for some reason, that's not into comedy, Just for Laughs, biggest comedy festival on the planet. And they have 2 different ways you can go in. New faces, which is if you have representation, but people, you know, you're not famous. Oh, and then there's also Unrepped, which is the same thing, but if you don't have representation. So they used to do auditions for Unrepped. And the first one that I ever got, I remember I was out to dinner and you know, with Erica, and I got an email telling me that I had a like in-person audition for a final callback at Stand Up New York, because they had been doing the audition process for like 2 months at that point, and I was already like pissed off that I never even got one, and you know, I was all lamenting and everything like that. And then I was so like not sure how to write back to the email, because I'm like, well, I didn't do a audition to begin with, so I shouldn't be at the final callbacks because I haven't been part of the I was so sure that they emailed the wrong person that I had spent like an hour trying to figure out how to craft an email back to be like, let me hedge my bets and be like, absolutely, Mike Feeney will definitely be there. Mike Feeney is the person, you know.
You send a picture of your face. Like,
this guy.
This is the guy. So this is the one you'll be seeing. Make sure. But they weren't, I don't know how or why it happened, but I got to like jump the line and go right to the final callback. And then the Stand Up New York set I did, it was 10 of us on the lineup, and 4 people from the show that I did got Montreal. And I went 10th out of 10 to go up and do a spot. And
oh my God.
But like people were like, I forgot who, I remember Casey James Salengo that was the year he got it, and he was there, and he like murdered like a two he was like, you know, 5th, like right in that fucking sweet spot of like just the perfect, you know. And then by the time I went up 10th, people were like, what's happening? And I had a fine set. I definitely didn't have like the best set, but I also feel like it's very difficult to have that. And then after that, it's just been submitting a tape. So all of that
I had one of those years though at the Stand where it was like a callback. It was, you know, one of those years where I was getting a bunch of shit, so it kind of like lined up and made sense that this was the year I was going to get it. My manager was saying, this is the year people are talking about. You're in, you're good, you're whatever. And I went last at the Stand and destroyed. And then Jeff Singer came up to me afterwards and was like, Mark, good shit, buddy. And I'm like, I'm not going. I was like, all right, cool, thanks, Groucho, get the fuck out of my face.
But I'm trying to think of the worst set, the worst bomb I'd take back.
I can't think of any.
I mean, there's been because even the bombs that we've done have been they're always end up being fun stories to tell, even if they're I haven't had any bomb that had career weight to it, where it was bombing this has cost me. All the shows that I've bombed have been either bar shows or shows when I was young at you know what I mean? Those kinds of bombs. And even though we were terrible, now they're hilarious stories. So I don't regret any of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had bombs where you're wearing it 10 minutes for 10 to 20 minutes. You're just oh, it's on top of me. But I did have a bomb last summer at this backyard. I wouldn't take this away, but it definitely made me feel very uncomfortable. I told you guys this, where I was in a backyard and then it was surrounded by buildings. It looked like the back of Rear Window. You know what I mean? Where you see the backyard of everybody. And these two kids just started making howling monkey noises at me, because you can hear them. So they're going they're doing monkey noises. Exactly. Yes, that's exactly what it was, dude.
It was me.
Someone was being in a toucan on the left side. I thought I was in a rainforest.
Wow. That was excellent.
Feeney should do professional imitations. You should do
Foley work
of birds.
So these two kids. So I go, I call them monkeys, which was me just calling them monkeys, but they were obviously
they
were
black teenagers.
So that was a mistake.
No.
But whatever, dude. Everybody knew what I fucking meant. Everybody knew.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have called them filthy. That's what that's.
You shouldn't have quoted. You shouldn't have quoted Kramer at the Laugh Factory 40 years ago.
Just throwing Hawaiian punch at them.
These words,
yeah. Ooh, these words. Scary words. Yeah.
So that was bad on its own, but I think everybody was all right, he doesn't know what he just said, whatever. He's just a simpleton.
I love that you think that. I love that.
What a way to write it off.
Could you imagine being in Brendan's brain, where he goes through life thinking people think he's so retarded he doesn't mean what he's saying?
By the way, that's best case scenario.
I know.
I think I'm getting lucky with best case scenario.
You have nerfed your own brain.
Yeah, I was gonna say you shouldn't hope for that to be you'd rather that they think that you're just a fool, a racist fool, than an idiotic man.
Hey, whatever people want to think is their fucking priorgatory, okay? I don't care what
priorgatory. Priorgatory.
I know, dude. Okay,
you don't know.
You don't know because you would have said the right word.
It's progatory. Yep. It's progatory.
No, it's not.
That is the word that I wanted to say.
Prerogative.
Idiot.
Prerogative.
Yeah,
that's the word you wanted to use.
Purgatory is a word, isn't it?
It's not. You meant priority or prerogative. Those were the two words you put together like a big dumb idiot.
Well, what are these words?
You're thinking of. You're thinking of derogatory, which is the remarks you made towards the black folks.
Yeah, that's right.
So whatever. But then they kept going on and ruining my set and making me very angry. So I went, what
was it in a movie theater?
Uh-oh. They made you angry, so
So I said to them, I shouted.
So I started quoting General Lee, and
I shouted at them, I'm going to come up there. Or no, I said, I hope somebody breaks into your apartment right now and ties you guys up and kills your parents. And it was so bad that they took an intermission after my set.
Wow.
And Did they
apologize to the audience?
Yes. And
did they?
The host did, I think. He goes, and then he goes, we're just going to take a small intermission. And then when they got back on a little bit later, he's like, okay, we're going to start this over. No comics say anything bad about the neighbors, like shit like that. And then the guy who went up after me just murdered,
That actually,
obviously.
I hate that.
I think that host sucks.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It
I
sucks.
think that host sucks. I think that show sucks. And I'd love to find out what it is so I can never do it.
I don't even think they do the show anymore. And
Damn
the host was... whatever. It doesn't matter.
You do have to remember, Brendan has the the filter in terms of which shows he'll accept to do of a person who is just starting out.
Yeah,
Brendan will do any microphone.
It's as open as his dating app joke.
Yeah, I keep expanding my radius.
Yeah. Instead of really focusing things and taking jobs that'll make our podcast seem very successful, Brendan really
Why'd you make this personal?
Because it is personal. Because you taking those shows makes us look
same
weak.
Gigs, stupid.
I don't.
Us look weak. Yes, you do.
Don't. No, I don't.
You take the same fucking gigs.
Which one? Did I do that?
There are some shows that I see Brendan update, and Brendan is the only person that I know on the lineup. And of course, some of those could just be that I don't know some of these other ultra funny comedians. But most times it was like, I saw one that you're doing that was like headliner series, Brendan Sagalow, and then the rest were like the Jamoke crew.
Tonight. That's tonight. Hey, man, I'm just taking gigs, dude. I'm not going to apologize for it. Not going to apologize for it.
We're making fun of you.
Don't make fun of me.
Why? Well, herein lies the issue. Because you take the gig, you're not apologizing for it, and we're not allowed to mock.
Yeah.
One of those things
you're my
is
friends.
not like the others.
Well, what if we earnestly went up to you and said, "Hey, dude, as like a career move for both your image and the help of the podcast, could you please not take every shit gig from here to Pawtucket?"
Yeah,
maybe if you came up to me,
watering down our
and you
drinks,
and you did that. I'm the fucking kid that keeps putting water in his parents' vodka.
Yeah,
yeah. If you honestly came up to me and said that, not on a podcast.
We just did.
No, you
just
didn't.
now.
Yeah.
There it is.
No,
there it is.
This isn't grounded in any. You guys aren't in your reality of what you think is what you're talking about.
How'd I say it then?
If you had come
Don't
up
tell
to me
how I
not
feel
on the show and fucking said this, then maybe we'd be in a different world. But we're in this world now.
I've had this exact direct conversation with you. I've had this exact direct conversation with you. Yes, I have, because we've spoken about road stuff specifically with this.
Road stuff.
Shows in
not
general,
fucking
buddy.
Shows
it's
all in Brooklyn.
Oh, I mean, I don't really care about those.
That's what he's talking about. That's what Feeney's talking about.
Do whatever you gotta do.
You know, I fucking just turned down a gig because it was low money. So suck my fucking dick. You guys.
Who does?
Yeah.
Did you?
I take that very seriously, the road stuff, but fucking Brooklyn shit, who gives a fuck? I'll perform in front of a dead body. I don't give a fuck. And normally they are, if you've seen the act.
Your own dead body?
Yeah. Who are you? I don't even know who was being insulted in that one.
I think I was insulting myself. All right, let's just move on to another question. Okay, boys?
I don't even know what the question was or if we answered it.
Either way, patreon.com/scenario pod. If you're digging this pod, we do 2 additional hours of podcasting per week.
Yes.
We have so much more additional content up there. Mike takes edible sketches. We have more vlogs coming. I just did a stand-up one coming out. We're doing a poker match between me and Bobby Kelly. We're just fucking we're putting up so much shit on the goddamn.
If you enjoy the
Patreon.
for $5, you can get an additional 2+ hours of more infighting a week.
Yeah. If you're a child of divorce and you feel a real hole in your body where your parents used to argue, then come to this podcast. We'll fill that for you.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, think about it's just like 1 cup of coffee. Okay. Last question comes from Carlos Orozco. Same guy. Orozco.
I think we're going to need another question after this because we've done this question before.
No. Oh, have we?
I don't know. Read it.
Okay. For every 2 inches of your height, you lose. You gain 1 more inch of your dick size. Oh, yeah. We did answer this.
Yeah.
And I think we all agreed. I don't think losing height is worth the dick size. I don't care. I'm fine with my dick.
No, height 100 times out of 100. Yeah, for sure.
I would lose inches off my dick to gain height.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take
it, Brendan. I thought that was I thought you put your mic down and we're like, I'm fucking done.
I'm going to a gig.
Yeah. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a dumpster to perform in.
Can you imagine
I have an abandoned Blockbuster to go to.
Yeah. Can you imagine the intimidating presence that would be if Brendan's exact body size, but he was 6'4"?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fucking the the like respect he would command physically, just being, I'd be like, oh shit. If he just is like big country Brendan.
I think right. I wear suspenders.
Brendan Greg Ostertag Sagalow.
Just a big country boy.
Big country was Brian Reeves.
Big country boy.
Yeah, actually, Brendan kind of does look like big country Brian Reeves from the Vancouver Grizzlies.
I don't know who that is, but
I'll pull up a picture.
Actually perfect for this next question, and I think you guys are going to have a fucking blast with this. If you could reverse one sports call in history, which would it be?
Ooh.
Take your time. I will not be able to answer this.
You have nothing.
Now, with sports call, I'm going to take a vague stance on that and maybe do something like change the Astros who cheated the Yankees out of possibly going to the World Series or winning a World Series, and then they cheated. Maybe.
I do look like that guy.
Yeah, he looks like a cousin for sure. Click the second one. That's exactly
this one.
That guy's face looks like if someone
where he's wearing white.
This one?
Yeah,
that's not even him. That's his son.
Still.
Yeah, that's I mean, that kid looks like he's got a touch of the downs a little bit.
That haircut.
When Brendan gets his haircut, that's exactly what he looks like.
Dude, that guy, he legitimately looks like a Geico caveman got a bath and a haircut.
I can't even emphasize the anxiety that the amount of your tabs is giving me.
Oh, well, these you don't like
the
that?
fact that you have even any internet to speak of is phenomenally
You have 2
impressive.
Instagrams open and 3 YouTubes.
That's right. And,
3 YouTubes makes
4
sense,
YouTubes and a bunch of mails. I mean, I'm a busy guy that has, I'm really juggling quite a bit of things.
Yeah, I'm a busy guy, busy watching the roast of Jim Norton. And
I actually, you know what? I'll do a little insight. Let's see what my YouTube tabs are. This is why you watch on YouTube. Let's see this. The Patrice O'Neill roast. That's hilarious. Channel content my own. Another upload.
Nice.
And editing. So only one of them was being watched, but
it was the first one, which is perfect.
I was watching Ben Bailey during the Patrice roast, which is one of the greatest 20 minutes ever.
He's so good at it. He's so good at it. So my sports call would be when my little league coach.
I was in the middle. I didn't even finish mine. I was in the middle of it.
Okay. All right.
When the Astros stole the World Series, they got no penalization for that because the only way they were able to find out about it, the only way they would admit that they cheated was if they were given full immunity beforehand, which is like, what a crazy thing to be like, I'll let you know that I murdered him for sure, but you can't do anything if I do. They didn't penalize any of the players, and I feel like that that fucked up baseball because they cheated for 3 straight years and won World Series.
It's almost like the reverse of a RICO act. Like that was like the dumbest reason ever. It's like, just incriminate yourselves so we can then get the heavy hitters. And what? Some fucking idiot coach got suspended. That was it.
Yeah, it was a manager who, by the way, is back to managing, and then it was another manager who is also back to managing, and then they find the organization lost a draft pick.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds totally reasonable. The call I would reverse is the call in Game 1 of New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks when they called a tic-tac bullshit foul on Trae Young as he drove to the basket, and it kind of swung the entire game.
I mean, Trae Young, I was screaming at my television because I was watching with Eric. I was just like, when it was their last possession, and I go, just whatever you do, don't let Trae Young beat you. The only guy who's been beating you this game,
Bogdanovich was really good too. But
for sure, don't give him an open lane to the rim like he's done. He made embarrassed. It was just insane.
Do you know what the problem was? The problem is that Nerlens Noel got fucking hurt, and he's usually the rim protector and would have 100% been in the game had he not gotten his fucking dumb skinny ankle injured. And there's no way Trae Young would have gotten that deep in the paint with him there. So it's it's a dramedy of errors, as is Brendan's life. But man, I would have completely corrected that call.
Oh, or also, how about the call to his inbound? The inbound pass from the Knicks was so terrible. I mean, he had his back to the rim. It was like there was no shot.
If you could reverse a play call, I would reverse that play call. I also would have reversed overthinking himself coaching wise and putting Frank Ntilikina, whatever the fuck, in the game for 8 seconds each to try to limit Trae Young. It's like, just stop playing a deadly cold guy with 8 seconds left against a dude who's been running around for the entire game and gotten into the flow and is a really dangerous offensive player. There is no fucking reason to overthink yourself on that level, Tibbs, you fucking lazy eye-titted idiot.
If you Alan Hahn made a great point where he said that, you know, they lost by 1 when they got absolutely dick all from Julius Randle, who's been carried them to the playoffs essentially. So the fact that they came that close to winning without even their best asset is encouraging.
Yeah, but then also Alec Burks was like he was Julius Randle. He had 18 in the fourth quarter. He had like 27 overall. The problem with Julius Randle is like how much he was pushing and how much he looked like almost like Kobe in that elimination game where he was going to win the championship by himself for that one at first time without Shaq. And he was like so pressed and wanted to win so bad that he shot like 6 for 38. It was like,
there were like air balls too.
I mean, he was like forcing the issue so much. He had a lot of stuff where he was out of control going into the lane and they were basically planting their feet and taking charges. It was just like, he just looked really fucking bad. And it was his first playoff game ever. But for some reason, the rookies like quickly and, whatever, they looked like they were more ready for the situation than he was.
Now, Brendan, what's your very serious sports moment?
I have 0. I couldn't even, I feel like there'd be like a butterfly effect if I did so. I'd be like, he gets benched. And it's like, you guys jump on me. No, you don't do that.
I thought you were saying in Little League you had a whole thing.
Oh, I was going to make a joke where I said my I would recall my Little League coach telling me I can't ever play this game or something like that. I don't even remember the joke. But basically, it would be like, support me a little bit more. I
told Brendan, because and I think we've mentioned this on the podcast before, but Brendan is like surprisingly a little bit athletic. Like he's into basketball now. His body moves in a way where had one adult taken even a moment of interest in him as a kid, he would have been an athlete and had a much different childhood.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even know what the inside of the mall looked like.
I love your free throw form. It is wild.
It was awful.
It is left hand slaps the right elbow in a 90-degree angle turn.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm learning, but like ever since that day too, I went out yesterday or the day before. I was like, wow, I'm awful. I thought I was like, but before we played, I was like, oh, I'm getting it.
Yeah, you're like a young comic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of figured it out.
It's nice, dude. You learn shit mentally from all this stuff. Even that day, life, I was like, hey, sometimes you have a day where you're just not good or whatever. Right.
Yeah. Oh, man, we should have given Brendan like a post-game presser and just had him sit in front of 7 microphones and explain why he underperformed.
That would have been great. That would have been
it also is by comparison because you're like going against Mike, who is like, it's a dream he chased for 2 decades. And Mike basically has the same. I mean, he basically could have put Crew at the free throw line. That's how disparaging the difference was. I'm like, it should just be called Mike makes his friends get on drugs and look like idiots. Like that's just how can I make myself look better?
Go exactly against Brendan. What the show is.
Go against Brendan, who just bought a basketball for the first time. No, let's also pump him full of edibles and blunts, and then make the guy who has no athletic ability try to play against me. And Mike's like taking 4 dribbles, and he's doing a pattern. He's spinning it backwards, and he's taking it so seriously. Brendan just like
I'm throwing it.
Feeney, can you come with me to pitch this show? Because that's exactly what it is. That's the log line.
That's the show, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
So here's
Patreon.com/scenario pod. Everything for this podcast is here's a scenario.com. We got social media. Sign up for that. Write us a review on iTunes. It all helps us chart. We get more and more listeners every single week. So thank you, everybody, for helping build the show. And any suggestions you got, DM us. Let us know. We are extremely malleable. We love you.
Here's the Scenario is Mike Feeney, Mike Cannon, and Brendan Sagalow. Executive producers Robert Kelly and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button Podcasts. For more information about the show, visit here'sthescenario.com.
The Scenario.